As if the millions of Ukrainian women and children fleeing Russia's invasion haven't been through enough trauma, witnessing a bloody, brutal war, forced to leave behind husbands, fathers, without knowing if they'll ever see them again. There are sickos out there, sleazebags, hoping to sexually exploit and prey on mothers, children, and single women. It's happening as we speak, and not enough people are talking about it. It came to light this week when the United Nations stepped in, telling the UK to stop matching Ukrainian women with single British men who register as hosts, offering refugees a room or a place to stay. There's safety concerns, obviously. A leading charity described the UK's Homes for Ukraine program as a Tinder for sex traffickers because of the lack of proper vetting of potential hosts. Under the program, British residents connect with Ukrainian refugees directly, leaving tens of thousands of people to post on social media sites like Facebook for hosts willing to take them in. In issuing its warning, the UN High Commissioner for Refugees said there was a need for adequate safeguards and vetting measures to be in place against exploitation. The UN's move comes after widespread reports of female refugees being propositioned for sex by male hosts, not just in Britain, but across Europe. According to an investigation by the Times of London, refugees have been reported apparently being asked to hand over their babies to strangers for quote-unquote adoption, while others say they faced sexual predators and kidnappers, people offering them free rides into Poland and Germany only to request sexual favors in return. It is all so incredibly sickening. Joining me now is Suzanne Hoff. She develops counter-trafficking strategies for La Strada International, a human rights organization working on the ground to assist and evacuate Ukrainian refugees. Suzanne, thank you so much for coming on the show. We appreciate it. So this is not an issue that people would immediately think about, but we have to talk to us about what these female refugees are facing.
Yes, thank you very much. There is actually increasing attention also by governments to warn women, especially women and children, of course, are fleeing at the moment, and to warn them about the risks. So there's quite a lot of information at the borders at the moment. But of course, we can never completely reduce the risks of people coming in contact with the wrong people, having the wrong intentions, of course.
And you say that some men seem to be using the situation as a way to try to find Ukrainian wives or girlfriends?
We always see with conflicts and wars that people with bad intentions, of course, try to reach out and to make profit of people, and especially vulnerable people. So we have seen this also with wars before. Yeah, we have heard this, not only in Ukraine, but also outside Ukraine, in particular also Poland and in other countries in the EU. We have heard that people offer housing, job offers as well. And yeah, there is a risk, and especially if people offer things and expect something in return, for example, sexual services, like you said.
What is this ruse about wanting to offer to adopt their children? What is that about?
We do not have figures about it, but we do know that, of course, people hear about all these many children leaving from Ukraine. We also know that Ukraine was a country with a lot of people in institutional care. So a lot of people already now, of course, say, okay, we can adopt them also from other countries. And that, of course, is also quite concerning, because in times of war and conflict, you have to be very careful, because a lot of those children have, of course, parents, and you should not offer adoptions and do those things too quickly now, because there is a risk that they fell in the wrong hands.
Well, let me, again, if I could just get you to just specifically talk about this instance, right, about what's happening in Ukraine. The UN has been speaking out specifically about this. Why do you think that they felt the need to make this public statement? I mean, it would suggest that they believe there is now a real concern about some of these charities in Europe.
I think one of the risks is, of course, that there's so many women and children in particular leaving now. You see that the men stay behind, so it's a particular vulnerable group. Another risk is that, of course, there are a lot of stories about it. We don't know how to what extent is it true. There are not so many reports about people being exploited or trafficked yet, but there is true that a lot of, especially nowadays that everyone uses social media and online, you cannot completely control. So there are monitored offers. There are also the government themselves try to connect people, and there are also registered organizations that do that. But you see a lot of private initiatives as well by people who want to support. And there, of course, it's very difficult to control whether those offers and those housing offers and employment offers are actually true and whether they don't lead to exploitation and abuse. And that's very difficult to control.
Yeah, well, obviously the UN is taking this very seriously. Suzanne Hoff, thank you very much for coming on the show. We appreciate it. Thank you for watching. Click the red subscribe button below so you can get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.